Reserves. The gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Pocan, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you. I rise today in support of H.R. 5528, the Simplifying the Application for Student Aid Act. Last year, my colleague, Representative Doggett of Texas, and I led a letter to then-Secretary Duncan regarding the importance of prior year FAFSA. Allowing students to use prior year's tax data means a student can apply for financial aid at the same time they apply for college. This means that students will get information about financial aid, which will help them make their college choice much earlier. This is especially helpful for first-generation and at-risk college students who need an accurate picture of a college's price tag well in advance in order to make their decision. In September, I was happy to see President Obama take executive action to allow the use of prior year tax data for students. This bipartisan bill before us would make this executive action permanent and is an important step towards making college more affordable, ensuring future students are afforded the opportunity to use prior year tax data when filling out the FAFSA form. Additionally, the Simplifying the Application for Student Aid Act will also direct the Department of Education to develop a mobile app for using FAFSA. This will allow millions of Americans who do not have broadband access but do have internet connectivity on their phones to have access to an electronic version of FAFSA. Finally, this bill will also encourage the Department of Education to study how the department can better reach out to students with limited English language proficiency when filling out the FAFSA. These are common-sense reforms which need to be made in order to streamline the process for students applying to college. While there's a lot more we can do to tackle college affordability, I'm pleased we're moving forward with this important bipartisan legislation today. I'd like to thank the Financial Aid Office at the University of Wisconsin-Madison for first raising this issue to us, and I'd also like to thank my colleague, Mr. Heck, for his leadership on this issue, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Nevada.
Continue to reserve.
Gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Wisconsin.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to yield to the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Scott, 3 minutes.
The gentleman from Virginia is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the gentleman for yielding. I rise in support of H.R. 5528, the Simplifying the Application for Student Aid Act, and encourage my fellow members to support it as well. Under this bill, students and parents will be able to apply for financial aid when filling out college applications and will no longer have to wait until they have filed the current year's tax returns in order to complete the free application for federal student aid or FAFSA form. Prior to this change, some families could not fill out the FAFSA form until they had filled out their taxes in April or even later with an extension, and therefore many students could not receive financial aid in a timely manner. In a 2013 report from the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators, a report on using what is called prior year FAFSA data, they found that the expected family contribution of low-income students does not change much over time, and concluded that the potential benefits of using prior year data outweighed the potential costs. And so, last year, President Obama directed the Department of Education to switch to prior year on the FAFSA form through executive action. Now, this bill will make that change permanent. Another important provision of the bill will require the Secretary to periodically report to Congress on the needs of limited English proficient students. To make sure that college education is within reach for all students, the Department should make the FAFSA form more accessible to students and families with limited English proficiency. Mr. Speaker, research has unfortunately shown us that too many students fail to attend college simply because of the complexity of the FAFSA form and the application the FAFSA form. This bill, this simplification, will make that possible for them to fill out the form and to achieve their dream of achieving higher education. We know how important higher education is, and I'm pleased that we could come together in a bipartisan fashion to make these important changes. I urge my colleagues to support the bill and yield back the balance.